In a world of seemingly endless podcasts comes what many would call another one. Welcome to the Two Men podcast with your hosts Tim Matson and Phil Powell. Now please join these two confirmed men, that's two moderately entertaining nerds, as they take you on another podcast adventure that's guaranteed to be funny. Or not. This week the two men talk about how to pick a topic for a podcast.
Welcome back to the Two Men podcast.
Woo!
With one of your hosts, Tim.
And the other one, Phil. It's been a while.
It's been a little bit, yeah.
But our energy levels, they're the same. You can't tell any difference. It's like 6 months, 6 seconds, an indefinite amount of time has passed.
Yes, an indefinite amount of time has definitely passed. And I think it's very telling that our last episode was entitled Anticipation. So
that's right, because
they've been anticipating our return for some time now.
I know, and that's, we've got fans out there, and they're waiting.
We do have fans. We do have fans. I would like to point out, as we were discussing before we started recording, that as far as nations that flock to our podcast,
yes, nations,
powerful
nations.
nations.
These are first world.
Yeah.
Nations.
Most of the time, yeah. China is now where we are second most downloaded.
Don't you think that probably, in all likelihood, people in China are listening to our podcast to learn how to become average spies?
Oh, they would be very average if they were taking their cues from us.
That's right. They would be
not excellent. They would be very average.
So when caught in a compromising position, they would talk about rural Illinois, for instance.
Yeah.
Details about.
It would be a great tactic. They could bore their captors to death.
So our topic, even though we've been away, because it's been a bit of a discussion between us, is how to select topics for a podcast that have no topics already in line.
Well, that's a tough one. That's generally what we do.
Yes.
We generally select a topic about really not much of anything. It's just whatever we're thinking of at the time. That's
right. I think our most disastrous one was about the anime thing. I think that was probably, and Pokemon. Those were last-minute decisions.
Those were poor decisions, yeah. Phil is, strangely enough, not an expert on either of those topics.
No, nor was I able to make those topics in any way funny based upon my ignorance.
No, I generally find your ignorance very entertaining, but
in that instance, not so much. It failed me. My ignorance failed me.
I can't believe that.
I know.
Your ignorance is prodigious.
It is prodigious and vociferous. So let's talk about that.
Okay, your ignorance?
No.
Oh.
That would be its own hour-long special.
Yeah. Things that make good topics are things that you're interested in, things you're curious about, maybe.
I like topics. I'm a science guy. I listen to podcasts at double speed, and I am.
See, that's weird to me. I couldn't do that.
Oh, I do it, and I'm all the time. Like I was in church this morning. Yeah. I know that's weird.
Whoa!
But
Were you listening to podcasts in church?
No.
Okay.
But I kept wanting to turn. I've gotten so used to listening to people at double speed. I keep wanting to hit the double speed button on the pastor. All right, there was a guy today who shall remain nameless. Thank God he was a layman. But he preached a sermon, and he kept talking about sheep and wolves.
Wolves?
Wolves, yes. Sheep and wolves.
Wolves.
Yeah, there's an L in there, buddy. And he actually felt the need to bring out visual aids. Like he had a stuffed animal of a sheep and
a stuffed wolf.
And a stuffed wolf, yeah. And I thought, Martin Luther King didn't use visual aids.
I have a dream, and he brings up a picture of a man in a bed with a little thought balloon over his head. Yeah,
here he is,
not
an
so
African-American man. Here's a black man, in case you were confused. I just thought that would help everyone here on the mall.
Illustrate the activity. No.
Yeah, it's like visual aids. That's like...
So great orators probably don't really bring puppets along for their speeches.
According to historical records, Gettysburg Address. Visual aids?
No, he didn't bring a calendar to show them the 7 years.
No PowerPoint presentation.
No PowerPoint. No.
He just said it, the words, all by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so anyway, that's a little aside. Picking topics, I'm good. I like science. I think topics where we play strong are anything where we can pull out stories of our childhood.
Yeah, and we have plenty of those.
Right.
Pretty much one for every occasion, really. And if we don't have one, we'll make one up.
Yeah. Don't ever let the truth get in the way of a good story.
I never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Yeah, absolutely not. I'm planning on it at my funeral.
Having said that, everything we've said on this podcast is absolutely true.
Absolutely. I haven't reviewed all the episodes, but I'm going to say that it's true-ish.
It's true-ish, yeah. It has the whiff of truth about it.
It's ickish sometimes. Sometimes
Ickish?
the truth. Well, ickish.
What does that mean?
Well, like not cool. Like sometimes
ickish.
Ickish isn't.
I think you're making up words again.
Ickish. It sounds like a Seuss word. Ickish.
It does sound like it belongs in a Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Peggy made us do that horrible dogs and cats episode. You talk about a downer.
Man, that was a downer.
That was a downer episode. We thought that's when we let you talk about picking topics.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we let Peggy, our listeners, suggest topics.
They led us astray.
Like
a woof.
Like a a huff and a puff.
A woof, a huffing and puffing and blow your house down.
Now wait a minute. Was it the woof that did that, or was that the?
It was a big bad woof.
Was the big bad wolf the same one as the as the one that Little Red Riding Hood encountered?
Oh, I don't know. Are you speculating that, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's a Mother Goose Cinematic Universe where the big bad wolf is like the crossover star?
Well, in one, the wolf gets killed, so this would have had to have been.
This was the prequel to Little Red Riding Hood.
So while huffing and puffing, I blow your house down. What happened to the wolf at the end of that?
Well, I don't know.
So he huffed and he blew your house down.
Yeah, he wasn't able to blow the house down.
He went to wasn't the moral of the story build your house out of bricks? Because it was like straw.
Yeah,
house.
Don't take shortcuts. Don't take the easy way out. Put in the time and effort to build your house out of bricks.
Because otherwise, really large lunged woofs
will
come along,
blow your house down. Mm-hmm.
That's the moral of the story,
I guess.
This kind of is straying back to another topic that we had, which was fairy tales. Do you remember that?
I do remember us talking about
that.
Fairy
Was actually
tales.
pretty interesting.
That was not bad. That was not bad.
We didn't, as demonstrated here, we did not know.
We don't have an expertise of fairy tales.
But I'm assuming that the wolf did not. You know, my wife is going to get mad that we're making fun of this lay pastor. As you can just tell. In other words, he was a well-intentioned man.
Oh, I'm sure.
And you know what?
This is not meant to make him feel bad or poke fun of him. It's just some people say words.
That's a little bit of fun, but
maybe a little bit.
He has my permission to listen to me talk, take something that I'm not saying correctly, and to make a podcast about it.
Ickleness word that you made up there.
Ickish,
yes.
Tit for tat, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could be the same wolf, but I always thought in that story, who could build a house out of straw? Because I couldn't. Could you build a house out of straw?
Me personally, probably not. No,
I don't think so.
I'm not that well skilled.
What was the next one? Wood?
Sticks.
Yeah, kind of wood. Woody sticks.
Well, I mean the whole thing was they just built their houses out of whatever was just laying around.
Which is recyclable oriented.
Which, yeah, I mean, in some way is a very green way to approach your building code.
Right. They were the hippies of the Middle Ages.
They wanted to reduce their carbon footprint, so they recycled just some sticks into an actual dwelling.
That's right.
Yeah.
It had sod.
And then the big bad Republican wolf comes along and
he
says global warming is a hoax.
Well,
and blows their house down.
I see. This is like one of these issues where what I don't get is why didn't the wolf just charge in there and eat them? Because was it pigs in the house?
Yeah, three little pigs. Was it pigs?
Well, is that the name of the tale? Three Little Pigs?
Yeah, the Three Little Pigs.
Okay, the Three Little Pigs. It's not about the wolf.
No, it's not about the wolf.
So how does it go? Or all I know is I will huff and I will puff and I will blow your house down.
Blow your house down. Yes, that's basically it. Is that the three little pigs, two of which, just knocked their house together so they could lay about. And the third little pig was much more industrious and built his house out of bricks.
So this is about slovenliness.
I don't know. To be honest, the more we talk about this, the less I actually know what it's about.
But I mean, it's like about a pig who didn't want to take the time to build a solid house.
Right.
So he built it quickly, and he laughed at the time that the other one was building it.
Right. The other one put in the time and the sweat equity to have a nice brick house that the wolf couldn't blow down.
Right. And then they ran away, and I guess the wolf went away empty.
I guess that's the thing. I don't remember how it ends.
Empty pigged. He went away empty pig.
Empty stomach.
Yeah.
No pigs.
Well, he had no pig. Well, actually, I would think that he was probably happy at the end of this because he was herding the pigs into an area, where he now had 3 pigs. Whereas previously, he had the 1 pig.
Yeah. I mean, they did, go to the next pig's house.
And what kind of disability did the wolf have that he could not chase the pig after he'd blown down the house?
Well, you might be right. Maybe he was trying to get all 3 of them together. He was being greedy and overreached, and he lost it because
in fairness, he did exert an incredible amount of effort blowing the house down.
That would take a lot. I don't think I could blow a house down. That'd have to be a pretty shitty house.
Well, I mean, you're winded, to say at the very least, after you blow a house down.
Yeah, I would think.
So when the pig fled, which is the natural time to attack the pig, you made that noise again.
I did.
Whatever that
you missed that, didn't you?
No, I missed it.
You've missed it.
I didn't miss it on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, can you make that noise in silence here?
I can't make it on demand.
Drink something and do it.
Oh my god!
Listen for it, ladies and gentlemen. No, that's swallowing. This is some sort of unnatural liquid movement.
I don't know what it is. I think we've run out of time, though. So what have we learned today, Phil? We've learned that maybe we should pick our topics in advance.
Yes.
Not do it on the fly.
Yes.
We've learned that we don't understand what happened to the big bad wolf.
No, we don't.
Nor the whole reason that the fairy tale exists.
Or the moral.
Or the moral. We really know nothing about the 3 little pigs.
We know that this is not a bad topic for a podcast, though.
No, I think it was a pretty good topic. I feel pretty good about it. I think we've covered it quite well.
So we may need to rename this episode to
the 3 little pig cast.
The 3 little pig cast. All right. It may not be perfect for us sliding back in.
Sliding is a good term for it, what we're doing.
Wallowing back in sideways.
Oh, that sounds kind of dirty. I think maybe we should leave it at there.
You travel in different circles, young man.
I do indeed. And that's been another podcast with your buddy Tim.
And Tim wasn't sure what to call it.
I wasn't sure what to call it.
Phil.
Bye.
Bye. It's time for Instant Opinion, where I give Tim one word, and he must form an instant opinion upon it. Are you ready, Tim?
I'm ready, Phil.
Words you misspell.
Words I misspell. I really hate that I misspell words. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. So I'm against misspelling words. I wish that I didn't misspell as many as I do.
Is that our new timer?
That's your new timer.
Things have changed on the Two Men podcast. I don't know how I feel about this kind of change.
I don't even know if it's audible on the microphones.
Speakers, yeah, I don't know.
We'll see. Go ahead.
All right. Unthankful children.
Unthankful children. I am against unthankful children. You should be thankful for all that you get. After all, I had to walk uphill in the snow to get to school. You get everything handed to you. Yeah, I don't care.
You don't care if your children are thankful? Were you a thankful child?
No, I was an ungrateful child. Yeah.
I think that's the nature of it.
That's the nature of children. I think I've just come to accept that children are what children are.
Crutchless Tiny Tim.
That goes against the whole theme of Tiny Tim because you have to have a crutch to sit in the corner to signify when Tiny Tim is dead. Otherwise, how are they going to know that he's dead? So you have to have a crutch if you're doing Tiny Tim.
But it's a hypothetical.
I'm against it.
You're against him not having a crutch.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you going to do? He's going to have like extra big braces. So there's Tiny Tim's braces in the corner.
Wouldn't it have been more effective, though, if he'd had to crawl everywhere?
Oh, that would be heart-wrenching. That
I
would
know.
be terrible.
But isn't that the point? So a crutch, if a crutch is like, oh, that's
They're too
sad.
poor to even afford a crutch for Tiny Tim.
That's right. He has to
Pretty
crawl.
destitute.
Or they have to drag him. What if Bob Cratchit?
God.
What if Bob Cratchit
I'm
had
taking
not?
Tiny Tim out for the drag.
Well, because I don't get enough to eat, so my glucose is low. But Mr. Scrooge is good at
Oh,
heart.
my God.
All right, taking Tiny Tim out for a drag. All right. Buried treasure.
Yar! I am for buried treasure. That's probably the worst pirate ever done. Yeah, I love the idea of buried treasure. I'm going to be that old man with the metal detector on the beach looking for coins. One of these days, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hoping for buried pirate treasure.
You do
instead.
not see that as much as you used to. I think that fad has passed.
Really? Maybe I'll bring it back.
The boop, boop,
Yeah,
boop,
the little old
boop,
man
little
walking
poke.
around on the.
I never saw anybody happy at the end of after digging in the dirt.
No, because what do you find? Like some washers, like
I don't know.
some beer tabs or whatever.
You need an archaeology fragment finder. That's what you need.
Is that right?
Pottery shard finder.
Oh, okay.
All right. Spells that require ingredients.
Spells that require ingredients. Oh man, I never wanted to play a wizard. I always wanted to play a sorcerer. Because sorcerers don't have to lug around a component satchel, and you have to worry about, do I have enough frog testicles to cast this spell? That's for the birds.
Yeah. So it's not good.
Not
Spells
good.
that
I'm
require
against
ingredients. On Bewitched, you didn't see him hardly ever use ingredients. They just said words that rhymed.
That's because they were sorcerers instead of witch or wizards.
All right. I thought you were going to say that's because it wasn't real.
That's also because it was pretend. Yes,
It was pretend magic.
Yeah.
It's not real magic where you have to have that stuff.
Right.
Peer-reviewed studies.
Peer-reviewed studies. I am pro peer-reviewed studies because otherwise you can just say anything you want to.
I'm fantastic.
I could put out a study that proves conclusively the powers of my sexual magnetism, and unless it's peer-reviewed, you would have to just take that as fact.
That's right. You did another study recently, as I recall, which proved that you are always hard.
It's true. It's true, actually. Yeah. It makes jogging really difficult.
I believe that they did it first in mice, which... which
Was that the end?
I've got one more.
Oh, my God. This is taking forever.
Non-hibernating bears.
Non-hibernating bears. I don't know that there are any non-hibernating bears, are there?
There are.
Really?
In the Amazon, they don't hibernate.
There are bears in the Amazon?
There are in Jungle Book.
Okay, that's true. And Jungle Book, as we know, is a definitive when it comes to the Amazon. All my facts that I know about the Amazon, I took from the Jungle Book.
There's got to be bears.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Fine. I like bears that hibernate.
All right. So you're a bear bigot. All right.
I'm not a bear bigot.
Um,
I just don't believe that there are happy singing bears in the Amazon.
This is the last one.
Okay, thank God.
Big Lots SpaghettiOs.
Big Lots SpaghettiOs. I am pro SpaghettiOs in any form. I love SpaghettiOs. So if I can go to Big Lots and get a massive quantity of SpaghettiOs, I'm all for it. Especially SpaghettiOs with meatballs.
No questions.
I don't want to know where they're from. I don't need to know their backstory.
There's no question why a suspect food ingredient is suddenly discounted. That doesn't give you
fine.
pause.
No, that just means I can buy more of it.
Oh.
I can fill a bathtub full of spaghetti and meatballs, SpaghettiOs and meatballs,
bathe in it
and just jump in
and give you special. They're an ingredient in magic anyway, so I guess it all works out.
It's true.
Well, that has been Instant Opinion.
What spell would you cast with SpaghettiOs? Maybe a
sauce me?
a portal spell.
Sauce me?
What?
Sauce me?
We better quit while we're ahead.
Yeah, it's probably right. Seems like a spell, though. To be sauced?
Sauced?
Well, isn't that when you're drunk?
Yeah.
To be sauced.
Yeah, you could sauce someone.
Well, I mean, that's the primary ingredient. Oh, you got you got O's and sauce.
Yeah, well, I was thinking you could use the O as like a portal.
Oh,
like expand and make
like
a portal. Oh,
and then you
this
go
is the
someplace
end
else.
Of Instant Opinion. Oh.
Bye.
Bye.
Greetings. I am Alice, highly paid digital assistant to the two moderately entertaining nerds of the Two Men podcast. Want to let us know what you thought of the show? Have a topic you'd like to hear discussed? Feel like demanding your money back? We'd love to hear from you on 2 out of those 3 questions. Drop us an email at twomencast@gmail.com. In the meantime, please rate us and leave a review on iTunes or your podcast service of choice. Also, for all discussions moderately entertaining, you can find us at facebook.com/2mencast. Please join us again next week when we'll be guaranteed to be funny. Or not.